everybody, welcome back to the HUBient channel. My name is Nikki and I'm so glad that you clicked on this video today. As you can tell, the setup is a little bit different, and that is because we went on another field trip. So, I don't know if I have mentioned this before, but my favorite meal is hot pot or shabushabu, and right after that is Korean barbecue. So when I found a post on Facebook that said that there's a Korean buffet, a typical Korean buffet, so they have cooked food, that specializes in either shabu-shabu or Korean barbecue, I was like, oh, excuse me. And not only do they offer the typical beef, they also have unlimited seafood. And the seafood in the video looked massive. So I had to go. I had to try it out. Upon seeing that post, I did more research and I checked out their Facebook page. I found out that they haven't formally opened. They were on soft opening. So the price was discounted. So I was like, heck yeah, let's go. Yes. But before I show you and take you out to dinner, please do not forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the HUBient channel, and ring that bell so you are notified every time we upload a brand new video. Also, disclaimer, I have to mention, I ate at the restaurant right before it was announced that there would be a lockdown in Manila, and right before they announced that dine-in wouldn't be allowed. So right now, as you're watching this, probably it's not open, but I think they will reopen on the 21st of August. Fingers crossed that our lockdown doesn't last too long. So when lockdown is over, you know exactly where to go. Admittedly, it took me a while to find the entrance to the restaurant. It's not directly on High Street, but it's there. And I did eventually find it. And I decided to take the stairs because knowing that I was going to eat at a buffet, I felt like I had to get at least a little bit of exercise in. Besides, it was only on the second floor, so it doesn't matter too much. Now, as you see, the waiting area was crowded, like not even exaggerating. One, because it was a very, very small waiting area, and two, it was not only the romantic Korean buffet, there's also a romantic baboy samgyeopsal restaurant in the same area. So the waiting area for both restaurants is one tiny, non-ventilated area, so it was very, very uncomfortable. Plus, I had to wait 2 hours to get to the restaurant, so that was incredibly inconvenient. Upon being seated, I was completely impressed by the way the restaurant looks. It's very beautiful, plus the seats were super comfy. So if you come and eat here, you don't have to worry about being in an uncomfortable seat, because I think all the seats were couches and they were, again, very soft and comfy. Now, let us walk around the restaurant because that is something I always do whenever I go to buffets. So I was closest to the drinks area, and as I checked it out, they have sodas in cans, they have bottles of soju, alcohol. I think you can make your own cocktails, but I didn't try because I was driving that night. Also, I didn't show it in this clip, but their cups are actually stored in like UV sterilizers, so you just have to get it yourself, which is really cool. At least I know that they're staying clean. And next to the drinks were the meats, and they offer a lot of meats: pork, beef, and also I think marinated pork and beef. However, I only went for beef because I was having hot pot. Next to the meats are the fresh seafood. I asked for abalone because it said on their Facebook page that they had abalone, but I guess they didn't have any in stock. But they have so much seafood. I love how big big the clams are, and my favorite part of the seafood were the fresh shrimp. You can see them swimming in the tank and they get caught right there for you. So it kind of reminds me of dampa, where you buy your own seafood and then you have it cooked. So this was really cool. I had the blast with the seafood. And next to the seafood were hot pot ingredients. So like typical vegetables, dumplings. It was all good. There was nothing too special, nothing that blew me away, but I did enjoy everything they had to offer. Next to the hot pot ingredients was the bingsu maker. I got really excited for this. Next to that was the appetizers, which didn't entice me all too much. They looked kind of so I didn't try that many. And then next to the appetizers were waffles and desserts. You make your own waffles. I'm also really excited for that. And they also have a little ice cream freezer thing. Next up are the sauces and the cooked food. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't try too much of the cooked food because I love hot pot and I just want to maximize the hot pot, but they did have a lot to offer. They had viands, they had pastas, so I thought that was really, really cool. They also had a ramen section where you could choose whatever to put in your ramen, but like I said, I was having hot pot, so I didn't go for it. They also had dim sum, pizzas, and make your own tacos. Now, there was also a section where you can make your own bibimbap, which excited me so much because I love bibimbaps. Plus, I found ganjang-gejang, which is soy sauce marinated crab, which I will show later. And then they also had a sushi bar, although when I got there, a lot of the plates were empty. So I think if you want to have sushi at this restaurant, you have to go there often to see it get refilled because people take it so quickly. They're like vacuums. It's crazy. So their hot pot was really big and very beautifully decorated. I'm not sure what the broth was, but it was really nice, and I put in the seafood first in order to have the seafood flavor spread in the broth because that's how I like to do my hot pot. And next up is me just putting in ingredients. I put in I think lobster balls, fish tofu, a heck ton of mushrooms, and some vegetables. Like I said, I didn't want to make cocktails because I was driving. However, I took a tiny shot of soju at the beginning of our meal so that I could sober up before we finished. And I just did it for the sake of, social drinking, camaraderie, The sushi was actually quite good. I couldn't get that much because people were grabbing it like vacuums, but the quality of their fish was incredible, especially the sashimi. I was honestly quite impressed because sometimes I go to buffets and I get quite disappointed with the sushi, but this one was very, very impressive. Here is the ganjang-gejang. I completely forgot to film myself eating it, but this was a dish I got really excited to see because I always see mukbangers on YouTube eat this, and so to be able to try a dish that I've never seen anywhere else in the Philippines made me super, super excited. Also, it was very good. There's also this little dish called crab fried rice, and it was basically fried rice and they stuffed it into like a little crab shell, and it was really, really good. Eating at this restaurant, I can tell you that they maximized the seafood. If you really, really want to have like unlimited seafood, I feel like this restaurant is the place to be. Now, the beef that they offer wasn't anything too special. It wasn't like Angus beef, I don't think, at least. But it was really good. I love beef hot pot because the beef absorbs the flavor of the broth, and so it was like kind of seafood, which you might find strange, but I love it. And that's just how I like my hot pot. Like I said, the clams are massive. They are crazy big. It's actually quite difficult to get out of the shell, but not only was it difficult to get out of the shell, it was difficult to eat as well because clams retain so much, juiciness or moistness. And so I was too scared to bite halfway because I was scared of it like exploding. So I had to try and stuff it in my mouth, which was also painful because it exploded in my mouth, but it was really, really good. It's just so nice to have massive seafood like that's unlimited. I don't really have to worry about the price. Now, the part I was most excited to do was make bingsu. So you just have to open this little like drawer shelf thing and scoop up some shaved ice, and it's really like decent shaved ice. It's like the legit, like it's like snow, it's like powdery, it's super cool. And I realized I used regular milk and not condensed milk. And I used so much of it, which was so crazy dumb of me. And then I put cereal on top. So you know what I made? I didn't make a bingsu. I just made cereal. Icy cereal. If I go back, I'll make sure to do a better job. I completely forgot to film myself making waffles because I was just so into it. So here's me eating the waffles. It was really good. I full on enjoyed the waffles. I enjoyed it more than my bingsu, and that's because my bingsu is just icy cereal. So they eventually had to make us leave because they were closing. So I took my ice cream out of the restaurant, and it was nice because I got to walk to the car eating my ice cream. They offer, I think, 4 different kinds of ice cream. I got the one with like raspberry jam in the middle, which was really nice. But yeah, that was my dinner at the romantic Korean buffet. So that was the romantic Korean buffet. Now, I'm going to list out the cons ahead of the pros, because, you know, bad news first over the good news. Although this first one has nothing to do with whether or not you want to eat there. But one, I don't really like the name because it doesn't sound like a name. It sounds like you're just describing the place, like the romantic Korean barbecue. Like, what's romantic about it? So the name's a little weird, but again, it has nothing to do with whether or not you want to eat there. But 2, I waited way too long, like way too long. They didn't take any reservations because it was still soft opening, but I feel like they should have, because I got there, they open at 6. I got there at like 6:05, 6:10, and they told me to come back at 8. I drove over 30 minutes, nearly an hour to get there for them to tell me to come back at 8. So that was a little frustrating. Not a little, it was incredibly frustrating that they didn't take reservations. I feel like they should have. Maybe when they're formally open, then they will. But based on my experience, they didn't. And that was really like an awful experience. And so not only did they not take reservations, the waiting area is not good. It's very small. It's not ventilated at all, because like I said earlier in the video, the waiting area is shared with the Korean buffet and a romantic baboy samgyeopsal. So it was crowded. It was awful. I did not like it at all. But aside from that, honestly, my only complaints were just waiting to get inside. It was just, the space was so small. It wasn't ventilated, and it was just so inconvenient. But overall, that's the only things I could say was bad about the experience. Now for the pros, and I actually have a handful to say, I think. First and foremost, they had incredible service. Like, I was very surprised with their service. Every time I go to a buffet, I feel like they attend to you well when you go to the food to get your food. But the moment you go back to your table, it's like they don't really care about you. This buffet was different. They were so attentive. They were always coming to our table asking if we needed anything. They were asking if we were okay. They were always constantly clearing out our table. They were asking us so many things, and it was just so nice. I felt so taken care of. So not only was the service incredible by the food, but at your table as well. They were so clean and attentive. There was this one point where I think someone noticed that I was looking for tissue because I genuinely couldn't find any, and I didn't ask, but someone came and brought me tissue, and I was like, oh, thank you. Like, it was just so crazy. It was something I wasn't used to, but I loved it. 10 out of 10 for me. And aside from the service is the seafood. For me, don't get me wrong, all the other food was incredible, but the seafood is really, I think, the selling point, because the seafood was really big, really fresh. I mean, you saw the shrimp still swimming. It actually flew out of the tank and fell on the floor, but it's worth it because I feel like seafood is quite pricey, at least if you eat it in restaurants. You know, it's very different from when you buy it in a market. But if you try to eat seafood at restaurants, they are definitely quite pricey. But not only is it unlimited, but it's good quality, it's fresh, it's live. So that was full on impressive. They did not have abalone again, which I really wanted to try, but it's okay. I was perfectly satisfied with the clams and the shrimp, or prawns, I'm not sure, but I was really happy with that. Overall, the quality of the food was incredible for its price. That for me was the most amazing part. I spent, I think, $700 per person, plus service charge, which is well deserved, and it just, I feel like I was stealing at that price. I was like, this doesn't feel right. I feel like I should be paying more for this. It was $700 because it was soft opening. I think when they open, it'll be $1,000 per person. So I got really lucky that I managed to slip in during soft opening. But even if it's $1,000 per person, that is worth it, hands down. That buffet is worth your time and your money. I just hope they take reservations next time. I don't know the words to express just how much I enjoyed it there, except for the fact that I only had 2 hours. But again, it was really good, and I highly recommend that you try it out for yourself when lockdown is over. But let me know in the comments down below if you would be willing to try it. I highly recommend it, and I say that you should, but would you? Is this the kind of cuisine that would interest you? Are you willing to spend maybe 1,000 pesos just for this kind of buffet? Let me know, I'm interested. And also let me know if you managed to try it during soft opening. Were you one of the lucky ones who managed to try it before lockdown happened? I would love to know. And while you're down there in the comments, please do not forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the HUBient channel, and ring that bell so you are notified every time we upload a brand new video. Again, my name is Nikki, and I'm so glad that I met you here today. Until the next video, bye!